What if I told you the shortest war in human history lasted just 38 minutes? It was over in less time than an episode of your favorite show. But behind those 38 minutes were years of colonial tension, betrayal, and a display of raw imperial power. This is the story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War, the war that ended before it even began. To understand how a war could last less than an hour, we have to go back decades earlier. The tiny island of Zanzibar, off the coast of modern-day Tanzania, was once a thriving hub of trade, especially in spices, ivory, and tragically slaves. For centuries, it was under Omani rule, and its sultans grew wealthy from their control of East African trade routes. But in the late 1800s, Europe was deep in the scramble for Africa. Britain and Germany carved up East Africa into spheres of influence. In 1890, they signed the Heligoland-Zanzibar Treaty, a deal that gave Britain control of Zanzibar, while Germany took mainland Tanzania. Zanzibar became a British protectorate, and though it had a local sultan, Britain now pulled the strings. Fast forward to August 25, 1896. The ruling sultan, Hamad bin Thuwaini, a British ally, suddenly died, possibly poisoned. The next day, his cousin Khalid bin Bargash seized the palace and declared himself the new sultan. Britain wasn't having it. They wanted Hamud bin Mohammed, a more compliant ruler, on the throne, and Khalid had taken power without British approval. When Khalid refused to step down, the countdown to the shortest war in history began. On the morning of August 27, 1896, the British gave Khalid an ultimatum: vacate the palace by 9 Suagayam, or face war. Khalid responded by barricading himself inside the palace with around 2,800 defenders, including palace guards and a small artillery unit. He also positioned a yacht armed with a few cannons in the harbor. The British, meanwhile, had 3 modern warships: HMS St. George, HMS Philomel, and HMS Raccoon, plus Marines, sailors, and loyal Zanzibari troops on the ground. At exactly 9:02 a.m., the British opened fire. Their shells ripped through the palace, quickly disabling Khalid's artillery and sinking his yacht. In less than 10 minutes, most of his defenses were destroyed. By 9:40 a.m., Khalid had fled, reportedly escaping through a back door and seeking asylum at the German consulate. The battle, or rather the one-sided bombardment, was over. Casualties? Around 500 Zanzibaris killed or wounded. British casualties? Just 1 sailor, and he survived. In 38 minutes, an entire regime had been toppled. After Khalid's flight, Britain installed their preferred ruler, Hamud bin Mohammed, as sultan. But it was a puppet throne. Real power now rested entirely in British hands. Zanzibar remained a British protectorate until 1963, when it finally gained independence. But even that was short-lived. A revolution the following year overthrew the Sultanate completely, leading to the formation of modern-day Tanzania, a union between Zanzibar and mainland Tanganyika. As for Khalid bin Bargash, he was eventually captured years later after fleeing German protection, then exiled to Seychelles and later East Africa, where he lived the rest of his life under British watch. The Anglo-Zanzibar War may have lasted just 38 minutes, but its message echoed far longer. It was a brutal reminder of how colonial powers could reshape entire nations with a single order and a few well-placed cannon shells. It also asks a haunting question: what other stories of resistance and conquest were lost in the footnotes of imperial history? Because sometimes, it only takes 38 minutes to erase a dynasty.